Good afternoon. My name is Tori, and today I will be teaching you how to do a blanket stitch. A blanket stitch is a simple and easy, yet beautiful embroidery technique. It's called a blanket stitch as it is traditionally used to stitch the edges of blankets. It not only gives fabric edges a nice look, but it also secures them. The stitch can also be used in many other crafting projects as well. The blanket stitch can also be used to secure two pieces of fabric together. Today, I am going to be using two pieces of felt that are cut the same size. I chose to use felt because it is very easy to work with. However, you can use any material that you think will look great with a blanket stitch. For thread, I'm going to use embroidery floss, but likewise, any sort of threading material can be used for this technique. You'll also need a pair of scissors and a needle with a wide enough eye for your thread to fit through. Alright, first step is threading the needle. Take your floss or whatever material you've chosen to stitch with and pull off enough thread that you think it could go all the way around to your project. However, if you run out, it's not the end of the world. You can always tie it off and start a new strand. So we're going to cut the thread. And then at the end, we're going to tie a secure knot. I like to send one loop and then put the end through the loop once and then back through for good measure. This type of knot will be secured and it won't risk pulling through whatsoever. So pull it tight. There you go. And now we're going to snip off the extra end just below the knot. Great. So now you have your knot. Now we're going to go to the other end of the thread. And we're going to put it through the eye of the needle. You'll want to snip off any frayed edges so that it can fit through the hole without coming apart. Here you can see my eye is definitely large enough to fit the fullness of this embroidery floss. Alright, and now we're through the needle through both ends. And today we're just going to be using a single strand, so we'll just pull it through and fold it. There's also the option to double the thread if you would want, and that way you just pull it through all the way, fold it in half, and tie a knot at the end. But for today we're just going to use one single strand of embroidery floss to secure these pieces of felt together using the blanket stitch. Alright, now let's get started. You're going to take your two pieces of fabric that are cut the same size, line them up nicely, and then in the corner, through one piece, this will be our front piece, you'll send the needle through just past the edge, pulling it all the way through, and that way you can hide your knot between the two fabrics. And now we're ready to get started. Alright, so you're going to take your needle, go through the back side, and come straight from where your previous stitch came out. Hook it through both layers and pull it tight and secure. Now just before you finish the thread, there will be a small loop, and you're going to take your needle through the loop and pull it like so. Great, now we have our first secured stitch. We'll take your needle again through the back side, out the front, the same distance from the edge as your previous one. And again, just before you finish pulling the thread all the way through, you'll take your take your needle and pull it again through that loop. Great. I'm going to just keep repeating this process all the way alongside the edges of your fabric or whichever areas you're hoping to secure with this project using your blanket stitch technique. I'm going to go again. Back to front, same distance apart. Keep that loop ready. Take your needle through the loop and pull it. Awesome. So you can start to see how the stitch is forming along the edge of the fabric. Pull it too tight, no worries. You can always pull your loop back. Send your needle through again. There you go. The back and the front of the fabric will look the same. I chose to use contrasting colors today with the thread and the fabric because I like the way that this stitch looks artistically. You can also choose to use fabric and thread of the same color so that it's a more hidden stitch, but I think the blanket stitch is beautiful and deserves to be showcased in the most vivid of ways. Alright, so I think we have the hang of this now. We're just going to continue the same steps all the way along every side of these two pieces of fabric so that we can secure them together. Through the back, out the front, through that loop. It's a very easy stitch with great rewards. Again, you want to make sure that each of the stitch lengths are about the same distance from the edge of the fabric to where you poke the needle through the back and out the front. I like to stick to, again, about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. And then in between each stitch to give the same distance. Now, if you do run out of thread, or your thread's knots and you have to cut it out, it's easy to start a new piece of floss. Do the exact same threading techniques, knot at the end. You'll come through half the piece and come out from your most previous stitch. Great. So we've almost gotten all the way around all 4 sides. And I'm going to show you how to finish off your blanket stitch. Last stitch, same exact steps as every other one. Pull through that loop, and now looks like I measured out just the right amount of thread. You're going to take your leftover thread as if you were stitching again, pull, you're going to go under a thread, and you're going to go back through and pull it out. This is sometimes called the balloon knot. Do another one just to show. Go under a previous stitch. This will result in a loop. That loop, as you can see, is this mini balloon. You take your needle and you're going to pop that balloon and pull it through, and now we have a secured, finished knot for the end of our blanket stitch. And our last step is just going to be to cut off the remaining of our thread just after the knot, and we are finished. Great job. Beautiful secured ends all the way around, 2 pieces of fabric. Alright, thank you for joining me today. I hope this was helpful and that you have now mastered the blanket stitch technique. Thank you.